Welcome to Post Apocalyptic. This is Rob.
This is John.
All right, it's Halloween.
Halloween, that time of year again.
We got our masks on.
I mean, just every day we're just celebrating Halloween.
Every day is Halloween. So this is our special Halloween episode. We're taking a break from our 80s, just a little break, and going to the late 2000s.
Yes, we jumped way ahead.
Jumped like
into the future.
Like there were movies in the 80s where they talked about the year 2000.
That's true.
And this is 2009.
Yeah. 2009, the hit film HalloweeNight.
HalloweeNight. If you look at it, it's Halloween and the night at the end. There's just one N. So it's HalloweeNight.
Very economical. Just conserve all the...
Start typing that out, going, just do that. From one of our favorites, Mark Polonia. Oh my God, I can't ever say it.
Polonia, I think.
Mark Polonia.
Yeah.
With Wild Eye Releasing, as always, his go-to company. So we're going to sit down and get frightfully entertained?
Yes, frightfully entertained. I can't wait for that. I mean, who wouldn't want that?
It's like it's in tradition of all Halloween movies, or Halloween night movies.
Yes, all the Halloween night movies. There are other Halloween night movies actually, but this is
the only one directed by him.
That's true. This is true.
All right, join us for our Halloween special for Halloween night.
Halloween night
for you.
Oh, it's for me. Already, I feel the love.
I'm in. Oh.
Nice.
It's just Halloween night on this one. I'm out. No.
Nick!
They're 50.
Now what do we do? Hey, tomorrow's Halloween night. Let's have a party. Yeah,
It's gonna be Mark.
Right.
Yep. Why does he have an old-timey phone? And why does he have her number?
Yeah. What?
Oh, nice transition. Oh, nice. Well, it's 2009, so he just got this new filter.
Exactly.
He's like, oh, look at this.
Okay.
Basement video store?
There it is. That Nick.
Oh, I hope that's Nick. Oh, it was a basement, video bookstore.
It's really cool that your parents let you have this party. My parents would never allow.
Does he not own the house?
They have no idea about this party. They'd kill me if they ever found out.
Because they're 80.
Yeah.
No, they're gone for about a week.
Well, then.
Where the hell am I?
My thoughts exactly.
I can take a breath. Never mind.
What?
I mean, I'm sure there's sound effects.
Wow.
Nice. That actually went pretty good.
What do you say we rent some horror flicks from the old night video store?
horror flicks.
Video store.
Oh,
Great. Now how am I gonna get home?
Well, we're gonna go to the video store in a few minutes and take it.
Oh,
Sure, thanks. I doubt Liz will be leaving anytime soon.
that's a shower.
No, I'll be right back.
He looks like, remember John Connor's friend in Terminator 2, the redheaded kid?
Yeah.
Looks like that'd be his dad. He's got kind of that face.
Yeah, totally.
Does doesn't notice the one light coming from the house.
Or him.
Yeah. He noticed the light. He doesn't have eyes. How about just run at this point? Like,
Right.
pumpkin pie, bitch. Oh.
Night, wasn't it? I suspect police would be here soon. So you must rest here and be quiet as a mouse.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Yes.
All right, so this one will be a little different. Obviously we're going to talk about the movies. There's not really 5 questions. There'll be a few questions because it doesn't really pertain. But, of course, soon to be sponsored, High West.
Absolutely. Hopefully.
One day. I think it's getting better.
Oh man, yeah.
Oh, all jokes aside, it's really, really good.
It is.
And you don't need much. You just
No, it's just that one thing
it's just
right
like
now.
a little sip. It warms you up on this chilly Halloween night.
Ooh, spooky,
Which
chilly
probably,
Halloween.
it's LA, so it'll probably be 80.
Right.
All right, so Halloween night.
Yeah.
Another one from Wild Eye Releasing. Our one of our favorites, Mark.
Mark, he came through this time. I mean, this is...
For this place, so this movie's now 11 years old. Depends on when they... That was on the show that shall not be named, I think, at that point.
Right.
It was 2009 to 10. Yeah.
Yeah,
Crazy. So we revisit Hollywood of the East.
we did.
Halloween night.
Halloween night, and this one was enjoyable. This one is fun. I think, it's just sort of like we settled in with these. I mean, look, yes, we're not introduced to them.
Yeah.
All of them. That being said, I think that sort of settling in with these people, on this Halloween night, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And so part of the questions would be, how were the performances in this one?
Okay, so I have to temper this sort of
Yeah, you got to bring it down to
expectations.
what we're watching.
I thought within the realm of the way the performances usually are in this director's movies, I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them were, hokey or trying too hard. Or maybe not, or maybe this is how people are. But all in all, I think that there's one actress that we had to sort of stay with through the whole movie, and I thought that she did, Trixie, a decent job, in keeping us, engaged.
The one thing it lacks is the people that we've kind of grown to love with these films. There's no Jeff Kirkendall.
No.
There's no Titus Himmelberger, and there's no James Coulias or Carluius.
I can't.
Something like a crooked hat guy from Sharkenstein.
I guess you'll put a.
I'll put the actually right spelling and everything, and maybe a photo. So it is kind of fun to watch this and see a few people because. Matt, with the long blonde hair, who's 50. He's been in a few of them, but usually a kind of a smaller role. This was kind of a larger role for him because I think he was boat captain in Sharkenstein, and I kind of don't remember what the other one, but it was boat captain.
Yeah.
And a few of these people looked vaguely familiar within like Mark's cinematic universe. But without having them in it, we've grown to really enjoy those people as actors. So it's just like, oh, where's Kirkendall?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, because, these are staples, so you're like, okay, it's just going to use them throughout. And this was sort of predates all of those films, right? So.
Yeah, because most of those, I think I'm going to be terrible. I think Sharkenstein, which was the first one we watched after Shark Exorcist in the office.
Right.
I want to say Sharkenstein's about 5 years old. So this probably predates it 5 years. I don't know the first movie they worked together on, but like for someone like Jeff Kirkendall was missed. He would have been Creepy Harold by Todd Carpenter, I think.
Mm-hmm.
His performance was interesting to the point of I don't know if it was a performance or it was just lack of acting. But there were moments where it was just like, oh, this is pretty good, or is this pretty bad?
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards the fact that that's him.
Right.
And not that he wasn't acting, because I'm sure some of the reads were, you know, directed by Mark. But, I think that this is sort of a, I don't want to use the word, but a clinic on, you know, casting your friends.
Yeah.
And sort of getting together and doing a movie. I think you'd made mention of, it's 11 years old.
Yeah.
Depending on, this is not the 80s, Rob.
Right.
This is not the 80s. And Mark makes movies and puts them out the week or two after. So it most definitely was made in 2009.
So what do you think, from now that we know his catalog so well, how would you say the film looked as being shot and directed?
I have to put it up there with I have to put it at the top, probably.
All right.
I think I enjoyed this. I'll just say it. I enjoyed this movie more than any of the others.
Okay.
And it was, you know, I think in large part it was due to the fact that I think he really put work in here.
Yeah.
I think the music, I mean, it takes
wall-to-wall music.
Wall-to-wall music, which really helped.
Yeah.
Tremendously. I thought like you thought the Scarecrow design was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And in other movies, you know, it has not been good at all.
Mm-hmm.
Or has been sort of like lazy.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, I think he probably would agree with it because, you know, he probably would say he put a lot of work into this project. And if this predates the others, my guess is that he's now interested in sort of churning them out.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just like with anything, you can't have, you know, a sort of micro budget and an abbreviated schedule and then like put all the work in. It's like, you can't do it. But this one, put work into the Scarecrow, put work into that pumpkin thing at the end.
That stop motion.
Stop motion. I mean, it didn't look bad, and so it was.
And we're watching it. I mean, as you can kind of see, kind of on the corner of John. I mean, we're on a 70-inch screen, so it's not gonna like. I'm sure when he was watching this in the editorial bay, or even at home, I mean, maybe he has 70. I'm not like trying to discount that, but at the time, 2009, you're looking at maybe a max 50-inch home screen. You know, because I think. Oh yeah, I probably had my 50 at that point. And usually anything more than that, you were really spending the money. So like to see the stop motion work really well, and the Scarecrow design look really. I mean,
the Scarecrow design. There was one time where I was just amazed. I was surprised because, as you said, I was surprised that. Like, the Scarecrow had these eyes, and they're very distinct where the eyes are. And it was just a Scarecrow. It wasn't the embodiment of any evil spirit. And then we cut to, like, the Scarecrow sort of puts the heart inside of the Scarecrow. And then, like, it came alive.
Yeah.
But when it came alive, it had those same eyes to the point where I'm like, that's like a detail that he put in there when he sort of went from just the normal Scarecrow to the evil spirit Scarecrow, and the same with the same eyes, and it was so distinct that I was like, oh, I know what this is. This is something that, you know, in so many productions, you would go, oh, we'll just put the eyes there. Oh, we'll just do that again, and we won't have the same type of, like, same look of eyes. So just my sort of perception of that scarecrow immediately went to, okay, this is what that was, and it's something that, you know, in sort of filmic language or something like that, that worked. So I thought that was really, really well done, and just sort of like this whole thing was fun and sort of carried throughout.
Yeah. Because he could have easily done eye holes where you saw eyes. Like if the scarecrow came alive, then obviously it's just a guy in a mask with the blacked out eyes, or it could have done buttons or something like that. Like the choice to have the straw or hay or whatever just sort of come out the eyes was good.
I thought it was good. I mean, I have no notes. I mean, that scarecrow is one of the, like, there's been other scarecrows in other movies. But I think that this is probably one of the better ones.
Yeah, and I think from that point, even though it was a little confusing because in the opening, you know, he's carving a pumpkin, then this scarecrow has, you know, the burlap, then at the end, I guess the scarecrow skeleton, I guess, or something, has a pumpkin head. So the in-between is, once again, I'm not going into for like the story, like I need a concrete, I was like, why? I don't need all my questions answered. But it was kind of interesting that he was carving the pumpkin, then he was dreaming about getting his hand bit off, then he woke up, his hand was bit off, then he woke up that his hand wasn't bit off.
He started laughing.
Scarecrow design could have went either way, because like on some of his other films, like I think it's Empire of the Planet of the Apes, is obviously just ape costumes where you see the full thing. The fact that this was a design where obviously you know it's a guy, but you know it's Jason in the first Friday the 13th where he just has second one where he just has like the burlap sack over his head. You know, it's not, you know, so it's like it's kind of a design choice. You know, he just got it around his neck, he's got eye holes cut out. It's like that's what it went for.
Totally, and I say lazy, but I mean it is absolutely lazy with the ape costume. And that's sort of what I'm referring to. But when I say it, I mean, if you and I look at it, we're going to go, oh, well, you just did that. But I know, we all know what it takes to make a movie. And if you're going to make it in, you know, a week or two, you know, a scarecrow costume, he nailed it. Yeah. But it's a scarecrow costume. Yeah. To nail an ape, right? I mean, I don't care how. If you have like 2 years, you may not be able to do it. Right.
I mean, you either go full Matt Reeves Planet of the Apes, or you go Tim Burton Planet of the Apes, where it's all CG or all prosthetic. I mean, there's no.
Right. It's not much, because it's that whole thing where, like, it's easier to do a scarecrow or something like that because we don't know. We know what a scarecrow looks like, but we don't. I don't think we do. Yeah. We don't see evil spirit scarecrows, you know, running around all the time. But when you're dealing with animals, things like that, or like, we know what those look like, so it's hard to like replicate those in a way in a CG and being a prosthesis where it's not if it's not exactly detailed, will be taken out of it. So
not being like you said, it's just about, oh, I can churn these out a little faster. So then it's like, oh, I have this great idea for, you know, Empire of the Planet of the Apes or something. We'll just put them in the outfits, let's just shoot. As opposed to, well, how are we going to make this work or something? And it's that thing of like, the other one we watched, Amity Island, where it's like, hey, we're in the prison basement. And you're like, it kind of looks like a school basement. Yeah. But I can, you know, suspense of disbelief, just sort of like, okay, I know what you're telling me. If you tell me that's what it is, I'll believe it. But then, you know, when you're running around in an ape outfit and you just see the mouth with the teeth within the costume,
you're like, okay, this is not, you know. And so, you know, well, you mentioned the directing, but but the it just reminded me, and I think he sort of did his homework on sort of these films, like a Mike Myers, like a Jason. It's just the way they sort of walk, the way they, you know, we have that that sort of long lens down stairwell, and it's just standing in a certain way.
Yeah.
It's like, it's very...
The light hits the right way. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's just like, yeah, I mean, it's like you're saying, Mark is probably like, hey, look, this way, which is probably what's happening.
Yeah.
But, you know, I just think it was done in a way where it's just like, okay, I can suspend my disbelief that this whatever scarecrow thing, you know, is gonna have evil intent and starts murdering people.
And I think that's what it was, is like, if you can nail the one thing in your, whatever your movie is, like, if you nail down the performances, that'll shine over anything, sort of like when we did Carney.
Oh yeah.
Which will either before or after this episode. The movie is okay, but the performances make the movie better than it is. Totally. And then you have a creature design like this, elevates it up. Like if this was clearly a guy in a mask where it didn't look like anything, it would have been like, it still would have been fun.
Right.
It would have just been, we would probably wouldn't be talking about it as much as we have.
Yeah, and I just think that goes a long way to people who, you know, want to sort of put in the work, because especially when we know examples from this same filmmaker where he probably just didn't have the time to put in the work. He probably spent a lot of time on this.
I hope that we find out later it's like, no, this is the one I spent the least amount of time.
Right, exactly. It could be.
I had 2 days.
Right.
What? Like, my mind would be blown. But
no.
Is God damn.
Right? It's good.
Mark wrote this and directed and edited. He did everything. And apparently, from I think we talked about before, this is dedicated to his brother who passed away. I don't remember the full story. I had read it, but, you know, obviously tragic because, you know, if he died in 2008, he was born in 68. I mean, young.
Yeah, totally. 40.
That being said, they didn't have to be in college. You have to figure out what you have to work with your actors, and realize that most of your actors are in their mid-30s. Maybe, you know, Ken Van Sant is pushing maybe a little closer to 50.
Yeah.
The fact that they're supposed to be, it's a college party or something, and then, you know, when they talk to Nick, I think it's Nick, it's like, oh, what, are your parents?
Right.
Oh, my parents are gone. It's like, dude, you're 35.
Yeah.
Like, are you living at home with your parents?
Yeah, I think, you know, it's just sort of gotten into the sort of the horror trope of, you know, young, you know, people getting slaughtered. And it's like, okay, let's make it college girls go to a college party.
Yeah.
And if you're going to cast the people that aren't bugging you to be in the next Polonia movie.
Right.
Then, you know, you probably were persuaded by them saying, hey, you know what, I would really like to be in your film, whatever it is. You know, it's really college age. Yeah. We could do that. I could play college.
Yeah.
Whatever, sure. In the context of the movie we saw, no, they definitely didn't need to be in college. That was not a story point.
No. It didn't take place at a college. It wasn't at a dorm.
No.
You used all what you had. You used all your resources, which is good.
Yeah.
It could have just been, hey, my friend's throwing a Halloween party. And then those friends, the ones that beat up Crazy Harold or whatever, Creepy Harold, could have just went in, hey, let's have a Halloween party. That's all you need. Like, I would have bought right into the story. But it was just like, you know, that minute they're like, aren't your parents coming home?
Right. It's like they're trying to sell it. And it's like,
I mean, do you live at home? Because this makes the story sadder now than you're living differently.
And then they're like, you know, ex-boyfriends. Or just, Nick is or Matt is the ex-boyfriend, and he's probably living at home. And he's 50.
There's like a close-up of him. There's all this gray.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I'm close to 50, and there's like a little gray.
Right.
You know?
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
You know. So that, you know, again, that it sort of adds to the fun of it.
I think that's what it is he does nothing wrong. And we can have critiques and like nitpicky little things of like some of the other movies where they're driving, but you can see the reflection in the glasses.
Right.
all that stuff, none of that stuff bothers me because I know what I'm getting for this movie.
Yeah.
You know, and I think all of it makes it charming. And that's probably one of those things that makes it charming is, hey, your parents are going to be home. Just literally us looking.
Yeah, it's just like, what?
Wait, what? How old are they supposed to be?
Yeah, I know. It's fun. I mean, and, you know, the for what it's worth, the two actresses who actually are of age, you know, that college age, they more so,
yes. Carry on.
I'm sorry, more so.
Yeah.
Where I didn't like if they say, oh, you know, I'm going to the college and this, I could buy it.
Yeah.
You know? I could even buy it, them going to college a little later.
Yeah.
But I mean, technically, these guys could have been going to college a little later. But when you go, my parents, you go, well, okay, now you're trying to be 18.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that's just not.
Or like even if you're supposed to be 21 or something, it's like, okay, I can kind of buy it a little bit, but once again, adds to the charm. You're just like,
you're just like,
bring it, Mark.
I can't believe, like, this is, he's just, hey, unapologetically, these guys are 50.
Right.
They're playing, they're going to be college guys.
Right.
You know, so, I mean, I think there was an element to it that I enjoyed just because a lot of the other stuff, especially when we go on the killing spree, wasn't bad.
No.
You know, so, you know, the killings are campy, but most of the killings in any horror movie are campy.
Yeah.
But they work. You're right. You know, you expect to see, you know, forgive me, Tarantino-esque, because he didn't invent it, right? But like, just that sort of like campy, over the top, you know, axe to the face kind of thing. It's like, you know, it sort of makes it enjoyable, and I think that even in those, took the time to really make those work in a way, like the decapitations, all those made them work. It's just like, and the scarecrow consistently is a good design. So and the way scarecrow moves and everything, really good. You know, not too much where we did some of the cheesy effects where we the transitions, but not too much of this. The spirit and the lightning fight and all the stuff that you got. Well, you know, that's pretty cheesy, but it was just Scarecrow, and that's all we really needed. And so it really worked in that regard. And I thought the eyes, you know, with the hay, I thought that was a really nice touch.
Yeah, really, that was something that made it just, you know, cranked it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And speaking of the kills, like, they all worked. Yes, I don't necessarily like how you see now where like you'll see the axe go in and cut a face in half, and it's fine when you see like enough from a hit and a fall down. You're like, I get it. And even the guy that was on the exercise bike or whatever, because he had the mask that fell down, which was he gets punched through the back of the head. Genius. I mean, I've seen it a dozen times. I think I've even seen Jason do it a few times, but it worked really well because the mask, you didn't have to like have a fake face or something. It's like, clearly. But all the kills were really, I mean, some were kind of laughable, but, you know, getting scalded with the hot water when the electricity's been cut, and it's like, okay, that's just technical. That's just me going, wait, I thought the power was out.
Yeah.
Your hot water heater would not be going if, and water would have to be really, really hot. I know he mentions it, you know, when he's sleeping, but once again, I'm totally okay with it. Because, you know, they give us that information, like, good.
Totally. I mean, like, you know what it is, you know the budget is.
Right.
So you're going to be forgiving of a lot, but the reason why, you know, I think I like it because given all of that, I don't think that any budget you shoot with is a reason not to have, like, a good movie or a good story. It just means you probably have to put like that much more work in, but you can still make a decent a decent movie, a
Right.
decent film. There are certain things you're not going to be able to do because of money, and we'll forgive that.
Right.
If you put the money into, or the work in, rather, to something like the Scarecrow costume, the kills, those were sort of edited and directed in a way that really worked. Now, this is like the kills really work because they're edited and directed in a certain way, and you're like, wow, I'm kind of enjoying this, and that was consistent. And so every time I'm like, the head through the fist through the back of the head, like you're thinking, okay, how is this person gonna get it?
Yeah.
And they all were different, and they all were shot different and edited. I thought nicely. I thought in a way where you're just like, wow, this is fun, because they're gonna get it. I don't think the story was as sort of jumbled as a lot of the other ones were.
Yeah.
So I just thought, look, just keep it where it is. It's the party they're getting ready for, and these guys have messed with the Scarecrow, and then this guy's exacting revenge upon him. Look, I know they just tore down a Scarecrow. I don't know if that's a reason to
murder someone,
spirit, and murder people,
right?
Because you can probably just put the Scarecrow back. That being said,
it could have been a little more in that, like, could have just been a line, look, every day you're doing this. Not even so much the Scarecrow. It's like, you harass me every day. Okay, he finally got to the breaking point, and then just sort of, but except, you tear a hay Scarecrow in half. It's like, how dare you? Although they did punch him, but still.
They did punch him, but
just murdered everyone.
But he's murdered everybody, and he's gonna, I guess, do it again next year. But, So, but that being said, we know we have it set up. Okay, there's revenge that's gonna happen, and so, what better revenge tale than to happen at a not age appropriate college party,
but in the good way, age appropriate, not like creepy age, but just more of everyone's 40.
Yeah, and everyone might be 40, even the age appropriate, more age appropriate, girl. I don't know, but it's just fun. I mean, it's just a fun.
100% fun.
It's something where I was like, okay, like if I had to recommend a Polonia film, it would not be Shark Exorcist. Shout out to my cousin who started this whole thing by recommending to me Shark Exorcist, and then I gave that gift to her.
Shark Exorcist was the gift that keeps on giving, but it was Sharkenstein that put us on the Mark train. Because your cousin mentioned Shark Exorcist.
Shark Exorcist was... I didn't think it was...
No, that's the... I'll put his name up here. I can't think of it. He's an older guy. Like, he's like...
Farmer?
Donald Farmer.
Yeah.
I'm still putting it up there.
That's it.
There he is.
Yes.
Your
Donald
cousin,
Farmer.
yeah.
And then that turned us on to the Shark sort of...
Because we were at the office. We watched Shark Exorcist. Loved it. And the officer like, this is great. And then I think one of the recommendations was Sharkenstein, and we're like, fine, let's keep the shark train going. We watched that, and then I think at the end we're like, let's see what else this guy's done. Type his name in IMDb. It's like, oh my god, it's the gift that keeps on giving. He's done 50 films.
Right.
And then because Don Farmer at that time had only he'd worked a long time, but not a lot of his films were available, and the other ones we watched, nothing against Don Farmer. It was just, they didn't click as well as Shark Exorcist. And so once we got on the Sharkenstein scene, it was just like, oh my god, what's the next one? And then we just kept...
Yeah.
We watched everyone available on Amazon Prime in the office. It was just like, what's next?
Yeah, it was a lot of... In between all the work we were doing.
Right. Look, television takes a lot of work. We were producing TV.
That's what we were doing.
But we're also post-production, so there's kind of a lot of time on our hands.
There's a lot of time to do stuff. Sometimes,
Look, I mean, we were only able to watch about 3 movies a day.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot.
Not a lot. But when it got busy, we probably did one.
We probably did one, and it was like, sometimes we're going on in the background.
Yeah. That either means I'm really good at my job or really bad at my job. Like, either we're probably a little both.
Really good. And it's just like, at that point, at that show that would not be named.
Yeah. It was a well-oiled machine.
We were just sort of, you could phone it. You could really phone it in. I mean, like today you do phone it in because of COVID. But
yeah, like if that show was happening during the pandemic, they would not even skip a beat.
No.
It was the fact that we had these movies to go into the office to watch with a free lunch made us really go in the office.
Right. Exactly.
Had we not had the TV, it's like, I'm just going to work from home today. Like 90% of what I do is just emails anyways.
Yeah.
But yes, no, thanks to your cousin who inadvertently got us on that, messaged you, and you're like, hey, look up Shark Exorcist.
Yeah.
Put it on.
I was like, hey guys, Shark Exorcist.
That poster was tight.
Yeah, the poster. And with like all these movies, it's like that's where the work goes.
Oh yeah.
The posters are amazing. And then you see the movie and it's like, well,
can you put some of that effort?
Right. Where's that movie though? Yeah, I do. This one I have to say, like I liked just because.
You'd almost want to,
like
you said, like recommend this one to go, oh, that was kind of interesting, then slowly bring in more Mark.
Right, because this one, someone would go, well, the acting for this person was, but there's a lot here that you could, take away and go. But, it is horror, and we've seen some worse horror movies.
Yeah.
I mean, so you go in here and you go, well, at least the kills were fun.
Right.
At least and the stop motion thing at the end.
I did not expect that, and it was really well done. Like that probably took longer to do than shooting the film, and it's so funny because it's just those little things. It's like, that took me 4 weeks, to do or something.
No,
but
totally.
Yeah, I was gonna say too, like with the overall like story / directing, like. He gave us everything, gave us all the information we needed, because sometimes we always have to sort of like
Sure.
do that.
Exactly.
But definitely say like it's like one of the better directed ones. Like it really.
No, absolutely. I'm not saying that this is
And it sounds like we're shitting on the other ones. We are not. It's just we didn't expect to go 10 years back or 11 years back to watch this to go, oh my god, this one's going to number 1 now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I expected, okay, I mean, what I usually expect, and it's like, okay. And it just, once it gets going, it's just like, okay, it's I'm in it, you know? And like I said, like, the suspense and the editing, there's a certain way you need to cut it.
Yeah.
And he did that. And so... I just felt like a lot of work went into it.
Do you think that was before, like when your hopes and dreams just get crushed? Like when you realize once you leave film school and you start getting into the real job market and everything, like, oh yeah, this is life now. Do you think like at that point it was just like, I'm putting 100% in it? Then you realize like the outcome on the one, like maybe the one after this got a little more traction. It's like, I spent no time on that one. You know what?
Yeah, it could.
I'm staying on this path. I am going to I'm going to shoot these things in 5 days. I'm going to put the effort into it. That way, I'm not going to be Kubrick. I'm going to spend 5 years doing the research to make this one film. I'm just going to churn and burn.
And I know he teaches and
he does a lot more.
I think as he realized, there's a sort of business model, there's a certain way he can sort of churn these things out.
Yeah.
With also doing all the other things in his life. Because remember, this is like it's probably a little more than a hobby, but it's basically a hobby because he has a job and a life and everything else.
Family and everything.
Yeah, and so does everyone else here. So it's just, if at a certain point, it's about like churning them out. I remember I was out of film school, and I got a job as a PA on a pseudo reality show that will not be named.
Okay.
I didn't even know what it was when I worked on it because they couldn't tell us. And one of the other PAs had to figure it out. Like, he said, I think I know what the show is. I'm like, I'm working on something. I'm not allowed to know what it is.
And it's like, Hollywood? I get it. That's what this is.
So, I remember the head of the studio that put it on went to USC.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had done a lot of things. And I remember I was on the set, which was at a mansion in Agoura Hills.
Sure.
And Michael Jackson's lighting designer.
I mean, that's something.
Yeah. And so we broke for lunch, and he was the EP studio owner of the studio was at the table eating, and I was like, oh, this is my chance to talk to him about what we would like to see from this, and
film school, John.
Exactly. And I'm like, so what do you think? He's like, yeah, I mean, I think we're getting some good stuff. And I'm like, so I mean, well, he didn't say that. He's like, yeah, I think we're not behind, so that's good, And I'm like, well, I mean, I hope we're just getting good stuff. That's all I'm hoping. He's like, he stops eating. He's like, I just want to get it done. And I was just like, oh, so that's what he said. Yeah, I just want to get this done and on the air and just move to the next. That's all I want. And I'm like, okay. He's head of the studio. He's worried about bottom line.
Yeah.
He's worried about just turning these things out. And I've just expected him to go, to engage with him with this sort of film school sort of thing. And he was just like, I'm a producer.
Yeah.
I'm about getting this puppy just shipped.
Yeah.
That's it. And I'm like, okay. And that was the vibe,
And then you could clearly see John's spirit.
Right. And I was just like, I guess I could go back and see what the guy who brought the Falcon in is doing. It's just like,
John calling USC. Can I get a refund?
Right.
Speaking of, well, first let's see if I'll tweet Mark and see if he gives up how long it took to shoot. I mean, it's 11 years ago, and what his budget was, and we'll put it right here. Oh my God! Or I'll cut that out because he never wrote back. Because I'm just curious of how long it took to shoot this one and what his budget was. How would you now go back to your film school days? You're John, year 2. You're at USC.
right.
Because John will mention it again. It's like people from Texas. They always mention them
Right.
from Texas.
Right. Oh my God.
Your professor comes in, it's like film studies. I don't know, I didn't go to film school, so I have no idea what the classes
Film
are.
studies, yeah.
Film studies. Oh, look at me. He comes in, all right, we're watching this. I mean, granted, times are different, but he brings in
Halloween night.
He brings in Halloween night. He goes, okay, everyone, all your film students. He shows you. What do you think your reaction would have been, film school John?
Oh, I definitely would. The eye roll would have been massive. I mean, it would be just like, we all would have been questioning this because, of course, we are so much better than
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, that would have just been, I'll just say I had a professor who is actually a world-renowned avant-garde filmmaker. Okay, but that is an acquired taste.
Okay.
So, person brought in films, and we were just like, I think not during class, but after class, we would just talk about, what is this? Like, we would not talk about how much better we would be, but just like, that's not what we came here. That's not what we're to do. And we didn't really, as much as we held ourselves in high esteem, as these sort of literate filmmakers,
right?
This kind of filmmaking may have been above our pay grade a little bit,
right?
And by extension, most people's. So it was just like, you know, you had at that school, I won't say the name anymore. In school, you have the benefit of people who come to school because they like explosions.
Yeah.
And on up to people who just like a good European character piece.
Right.
And I love that. I love that sort of like mix.
Yeah.
But bringing something in like this into the class, in a film studies class.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, so what are we supposed to get out of this?
Yeah.
That it's good?
Right.
Or I don't know. I mean, it could be a lot of things. It could be like, you know, this is a film that was put out at the time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've seen films, you know, like in silent film class, you know, when we sort of study films, the genesis of it, and you know, the early films, the early silent black and white films that were not films at all.
Yeah.
They were like, you know, one was like electrocuting an elephant, and that was the thing, which really pissed off one of my classmates.
Yeah.
You can imagine.
Yeah.
But it was just like, well, why would you even show that? It's like, well, this is what spectacle was back then.
Yeah.
This is what sort of got people to the theater, was this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was a gimmick. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It was just like going to the carnival or something.
Like
Look
just sort of
at this.
magic trick or something like that. It was just like that's what film was in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then they transitioned into like story and stuff like that. So to see something like that, and to put this into a film studies class, that's the only class where I would go, okay, we're supposed to glean something from it, but
right?
Not necessarily that it was a great story or whatever. If you put it into some other class like directing, it's like, well, why are you showing me this?
Yeah,
you know, because as we say, this is one of the better, maybe the best directed film from him. Mm-hmm. We're not saying this is like Scorsese or Coppola or Godard or anything making the movies. No, it's not. But you know, that's what you show in directing class or whatever. Spielberg. But you know, in film studies class, it would be like, so what am I supposed to get through? Because in film studies class, you would expect there be some movies that you're just not gonna get. You're not gonna like. You're just gonna
because not everyone likes everything is the same. Yeah, there's just people that just like horror. There's people that just like you said, I just want to blow stuff up. I want to make slasher films. So that's the thing. It's
like if this were in a horror class, like in a horror class, I wish I had taken the horror class too. Like if you show this movie, granted, if you say it was like 1981, 82, I'd be like, oh, great. Yeah. If you say it's 2009, I'm like...
Especially in your class, you're going, this is a future from the film from the future. What is going on?
And why don't they have cell phones? I have some now.
It's all perspective, ultimately. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you're in film students, and I'm sure everyone who, all your, 20 to 21-year-olds go, pfft. But then you go, all right, this guy... nails it. Like he makes, 3 films a year. If you're on your path, you might try to get one made. He's doing it. I think that's the takeaway more is like he's doing it.
No, as you, and I want, their grad school was a little older, but so you had even more snooty attitude about film. And people who have actually, I was in the early 20s, but like you had people who had lived lives and done things and said, oh, I think I'm going to film. So people like 30s, and it was like, oh, like they have an actual perspective of life. Yeah. But I think towards the end of your tenure in school, and having gone through a lot of things, you start to go, oh, you actually did it, and you're doing it, and that is something that can be admired. No matter what the project is, to put the work in, to get the people together, to do all this stuff. I don't care what is on screen.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, and it takes a lot of dedication to be able to do that, and a lot of follow through for it to be on Amazon.
Yeah.
You gotta put the work in to do that. And if you do that, like I said, 3 times a year, even.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot more than 98% of the people at film school will eventually do.
Yeah.
Like 90% won't do anything in film or won't, make a living out of it.
Right.
Because it's a tough business.
Brutal.
But they could do just like this and do stuff in their spare time and do it. But like when life takes over or they go in a different direction, they won't. But it's very commendable, and that's why I can't say too much about the quality and all that, because I know to get money to make a film, the budgets to do all these things, he probably has it down to where he can make in his own schedule. He can make these films, and it does a lot for him internally, and so that's sort of why I went to film school, because of what it does to me. And if you can make films, no matter what they are, I'll definitely support.
Well, yeah, because that's the thing, like you said, it's like, you go to film school, or if you're even a kid, you don't go to film school and you just like want to make movies.
Yeah, totally.
And, here he is, it's like, that's what makes it so commendable. It's just like, he's still living this dream of his and still doing it. Like, he has a job. I mean, I'm sure this pays money, because obviously you wouldn't just do this for nothing. I mean, there's only so much the love that you would do. But I mean, we're talking about it. Like I said before, it's the Hollywood of the West talking about the Hollywood of the East, and they're on Amazon. Like, he can sit there and go, my movie is somewhere. It's not just sitting in my head that I'll write one day, and once I can confirm, Matthew McConaughey, I'll make my film. It's great. It's like, I mean, once again we talk about, it's like, but you could probably change the college stuff to regular dudes having a party, but like, like, I'm gonna make this, and it's like, oh, who's available this week? Oh, you guys? Okay, you're Matt, you're Nick, you're so and so. Okay,
and who we are. And we're talking about it like, or anyone you recommend the film to is talking about it like the way, whether they like it or not. But he's like looking at it, going, "Yeah, this is great. I feel great doing this. We all have a community. We all feel good doing this. We get to keep churning these things out, and it's great."
Yeah.
And so I don't know how you can discount something like that. So
yeah, I mean, someone's following their dream. I mean, I'll never, no matter how bad anything is, I'm never gonna shit on someone who actually does it.
They're actually doing it.
I might watch a few things going. I mean, I've watched a few things that and a lot. And you're sitting there going, maybe better on the next one, but I'm not gonna fault you for doing it. I'm just gonna be like, you either have a lot to learn, or this is what you're going to give us for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and again, it may not be up to your standards or whatever, but to that person, if they're like, this is great, and they continue to churn them out, and they continue to do them, you can't fault someone for doing it.
And that's the thing, it's like, you can't look at the negative comments. Because I was looking at the reviews of this film on Amazon, and I get it. If you think you're getting something based on the poster, which we talked about before, and you didn't watch the trailer, maybe you're going to be disappointed. But it's free on Amazon. If you don't like the first 10 minutes, check out. Like, there's things I don't like, I'm not going to write a review. And if I chose to write a review, it's like, this wasn't my cup of tea, but he did it. That's going to be my review, and it's probably going to still get a 10-star review or whatever they do. It's like 5 stars. It's like, he did it.
Right.
Yeah,
and I mean, if I were to review this movie, I would give it a positive review just because, I know what other, just juxtaposing against his other work, I think this stands at the top. And it was fun, but it wasn't trying to be anything else.
No.
It was just fun. And, I mean, put it up against the 80s. There are plenty of times that movie were made by some of those 80s directors. It would have gone creepy. It would have gone rapey.
No rape, no boobs.
No nudity, it was just...
If you watch any of our other 80s reviews, there's a lot of rapey.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of nudity.
Yeah, this one, even in the shower, like, there's nothing, you know? So, it's like... It's... You know, it's like probably a Family Guy just, you know, making a movie. So, it's... But it worked. Like, I didn't need any of that. Like, it worked as a horror film.
Yeah.
You know, as a genre film.
Yeah.
Like, it worked. So, you know.
And that's the thing. I mean, like, if you look at the movies we're up to now, like, I think we're in June almost of the 80s reviews. This is definitely better than Don't Answer the Phone. Don't Answer the Phone had funny moments in it because it was just weird, but this is definitely better than that movie.
Yeah, like at least I had so many questions in Don't Answer the Phone, but it's like in this one I had some questions, but it wasn't enough for me to like not enjoy it and not like, you know. I mean, eventually I think a lot of those questions were answered. There's some that aren't going to be answered, but it's still like I enjoyed it. I mean, that's sort of the test. It's sort of like at the end of the day, we can talk about, you know, editing or directing or story or whatever, and trying to rationalize or analyze what made you like this movie. And there's going to be a large part of this movie that you're not going to be able to like analyze.
Right.
Or maybe it's just like the collection of everything.
Sorry, we had to take a 2-second campfire break. I don't know what it is. It's just so good. Damn, that's good. Continue. Sorry.
Yeah, I just think that there's a lot in movies in general that make you feel a certain way, that make you love movies, that you can analyze and say, well, why do I like this movie? And you can point to some things, but there's going to be something that you're not going to be able to explain that, and it's probably just all of the things working together that makes you love it. And it's just, and it could be the spirit of in which it was made. Yeah, you know, because this is probably made over a few days, you know, with friends in the town, and the house belongs to one of the people, or maybe him or whatever. Yeah, and it's just they're having fun, and then you know that whole thing where like you look at something like, oh, these actors look like they're having a great time, or I bet they had a great time making that movie, and so you can like feel there's something about this movie that's kept me in it, and it's just I think that there's a consistent story in there, and I think I'm not saying that the story is overly complicated, because all it is like, hey, I'm getting revenge at a Halloween party. Yeah, you know,
someone's wronged. He wants revenge. Revenge is had. End of story. There's
it's just the revenge tale, and you know, it's like the simplest story, which is always great. And so we can just like enjoy like these people, you know, in this moment, in this party, in this town, for the film. And it doesn't have to be anything else. I think a lot of times, if I could give him any, you know, I won't call it advice, but a suggestion would be, you know, pare the stories down a little bit more, because I think it'd be ultimately easier, but a lot more enjoyable than like, well, this is a shark here, and then we have an island, and then this and that. It's like, then we're like, well, where are we? Right. This one, it's just like, that's all you need. You know, you're never gonna have the, you know, $40 million budget. So it's just like, just do a simple story. Yeah. And, you know, it can be very enjoyable. Yeah. That's all, you know.
I mean, I don't think it's going to be said any better than that. And USC grad.
Yeah.
So
right.
Just so you know, and it just floats over your head the whole time.
It's sponsored by USC. I mean, you need to give up the money.
Yeah, the USC should give us something.
Right.
I'm sure you're going that. USC better give me something.
Exactly.
I don't think there's much more we can say about our Halloween night movie, and
enjoy Halloween.
Enjoy your Halloween. Drink responsibly, but if you do drink, High West Campfire would be the drink of choice for us. Yes, have a safe Halloween. If you have to wear a mask, we're already wearing a mask anyways.
Yeah, wearing a mask. If you're going outside, socially distanced. Probably they advise you not to go trick-or-treat and have any parties or do anything with human beings. So
just go to the store, buy some candy. You're an adult now. You can just do that. You don't have to beg for it.
You can. There it is.
Go to the store. Just buy your own candy.
Buy your own candy. This is a candy promo in general.
Brought to you by Snickers. So thank you again for joining us. Like, subscribe, follow, comment below. And if you, whatever next Wild Eye, I'm sure it'll probably be another Mark film because we love him so much, but maybe we'll dip into the Wild Eye catalog a little more.
Yeah.
And see what else they have to offer.
See what they got.
All right. Thank you again. This has been Post Apocalyptic Show. This is Rob.
This is John.
Take it easy.
Take it easy. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.